I'm gonna need somebody to donate me some money. I'm gonna set something up where I can receive money. And I was just thinking, I had to get my phone charged, and I was thinking, I was fighting for my pregnancy and fighting, period, just to have my rights. And although I'm in the state that I'm in and I am with child, I'm thinking about my son that I gave birth to, Melbourne Halo Matter. And Cynthia O'Vera said that she would molest my son. So as a mother, somebody invite me to their house and they might be a cool person or whatever. And I'm sitting there thinking, this woman said she would molest my son. And I can't watch television. I can't eat. The only thing that I can think about is my innocent baby and the things that she said that she would do to him, and how I'm being terrorized. And they just tried to annihilate me and let her molest my son. So I'm pregnant smoking cigarettes because of it. But my main thing now is if they gonna keep trying to kill me and this baby in me, and I already gave birth to one that's alive that she said she is going to molest. And I just think about my child that I gave birth to and have me sitting somewhere making me out to be the victim or a charity case. And keep my son in the paws of you and your husband and Austin, the man that I shot in self-defense, and all the white people and racist black people and the rest of the country that hate me. And just think about this woman saying that she was going to molest my innocent baby boy. That wasn't the only thing that she said. But she said she will molest him. And as his mother, the only thing I could do is get back to him. Is to get there and say, no, Cynthia, you have to give me my son, Joseph and Austin. And you have to give him back alive. And you will not molest my son in your home and have white America cover up for you, or any of these blacks, any of America. So I'm asking for somebody to send at least $200 to start so that I can make it to Texas. I was lured out of Texas and they trapped me. And my son is there where she says she will molest him. And I know ain't nobody on my side when it comes to that matter, because someone would have intervened on my behalf and went and got my child and understood that this was a retaliation move because I shot Austin in self-defense. I love my baby boy and I love him dearly. And there is nothing that you can put in my mind other than getting back to my son. So every day is a struggle with people trying to mislead me. I need the money. I don't want to have to be taken advantage of on the streets where I won't even get the money. I don't want to call anybody that was involved with setting this up this way and ask them for the money. So that's why I'm asking for the donations, because when I communicate with my family, they try to do things to harm me with the information. So I don't have any contact with them. I need the money just to make it to Texas, because I could be on the streets in Texas fighting for my baby and being treated the way that I'm being treated in Atlanta, Georgia, because that's where they took my son from me and threatened to molest him. And as a mother, I know that CPS was involved, because CPS was there when they were trying to murder me in a jail cell, pregnant, for protecting myself from this white man. And they were trying to paint me out to be a terrorist or something. And they were not having my side about my son, and they were not telling me his whereabouts. And there was an investigator named Jim McDougal, but it doesn't matter at this point. What matters is that they're going to try to kill me when I go to Texas to get my son. They're trying to make me go through a judge that was connected to the facility where they threatened to molest my little boy as retaliation for a shooting, and that they would do it as part of a racist coven that Cynthia is in Texas, and that the police were in the coven in Texas, and there were several other people that were in the coven in Texas, and it was tied to a united coven all over America. And she said she would molest my son and do other heinous things to him through this coven, and with this coven that is racist, because his father is white, and I shot him in self-defense. So I have no help in the area that I'm moving in the direction that I'm moving in. And the direction that I'm moving in is to get to Texas. So, because my son is there, and I'm not going to allow anybody to paint me out to be crazy for trying to get to Texas as fast as I can. And they will try to put up barriers to keep me from him, and they're using a barrier. A man named Tracy Gilbert told Cynthia that she could have my son after she threatened to molest him with this coven of racist whites, and he was a white judge. And they staged to have me on the streets in Texas, not allowing me into any of the shelters in Texas. I was pregnant and with identification, and they refused, saying that they were full every time I called, and they set me up to go with men, criminals, who were trying to harm me and the baby, and they said they would molest my son. And so I left Texas trying to flee for my life, and I ended up getting trapped in more traps where they're trying to harm me out of state and keep my son, and they threatened to molest him. And they sabotaged my jobs and all of my financial earnings through these racist gang affiliations. And they're just trying to have me out on the streets, being taken advantage of. And the thought of that, with someone saying they're going to molest your little baby, and then you're somewhere being taken advantage of as a mother, as a part of their litigation scheme to try to retaliate for a shooting where I was protecting myself from this white male, my child's father. And they are going through family to try to abuse me as well, and certain friends. They are going through the court system to say that I'm a bad mother by having these people abusing me from state to state all over the community. And it is racism involved as well on the case, because they had the evidence that I was protecting myself, and they had the evidence that I was pregnant, and they still had people abuse me out of the state of Texas through Arkansas all the way on Greyhound to Atlanta, Georgia, and they've been abusing me the entire time. And I know that I'm not going to get help here in Atlanta. I've been begging for someone to help get me out of Atlanta for a very long time now, once I realized the schemes that they were going to continue to try to do to harm me. And so I'm asking for enough money to get a ticket out of Atlanta, Georgia, and then I'll be able to get myself situated in Texas where they have my son, because a mother will go to no length for the safety of her child, and I have to be in the same state where they have my son. I understand I'm not going to get any support right now in America with the way things are going right now in Atlanta, Georgia, with people trying to run these operations on me to harm me with child. So if I get the money, I'll have to deal with being followed, or them trying to stop me from making it out of Atlanta, or them just trying to harm me on the way to Texas or once I get there. And then the court system that they're trying to have me go through to get him back is a part of the same police department affiliations that threatened to molest him with a racist white coven, and they threatened to take my life and kill the baby in my body, which is why nobody in the country will confirm that I am actually pregnant. But I'm like, as much as they're torturing my pregnancy here, I need to hurry and just get back to my son, because these people have no remorse for what they're doing to a pregnant woman. And I need to get there to my baby boy regardless, because she said she would molest him. And as long as I'm stuck in Atlanta, or with people trying to bring me here and stage altercations and use me for this and use me for that, it's taken my mind off of what my mind was the entire time. When I was released from the jail, I first went for my son. As soon as I got out the jail, I went for my son. I went to all of the court dates, and people were just terrorizing me. And this woman said she would molest him with this racist coven that involved blacks as well. And so they ran me out of the state of Texas, and everybody that I went with that they are trying to use to discredit me are people who they had sabotaged me, for the woman who said that she would molest my son, and for the police department and the coven that said that they would molest him as retaliation for being a black woman shooting a white male in the leg in self-defense. And so they took my baby boy and brought him to her home, and they have never given me my child while everybody is trying to sabotage me. So I don't really feel like I can go through this court system that threatened to molest him with severe witchcraft. It was demonic. They were all doing witchcraft, saying that they would molest my little boy while I was in the Montgomery County Jail, and it was the correctional guards. And then they went so far as to go through a court system before my trial and sued me for my son illegally, and placed him with the woman in the coven that said that they would molest him with his father, his white father, as retaliation for him being shot in the leg. And then they involved black people, including my own family, to run me from Texas, to run me from Arkansas, to run me here to Atlanta, Georgia, and then try to set me up out here to basically be killed with a baby in my body. And so I need to make it out to Texas alone, just like I was when my family member lured me from Texas, Barbara Thomas, saying that she would help me. And I wish that I did not allow Barbara Thomas to lure me from Texas, pretending that she would help, because I needed to be as close to my baby as possible. There were times that I was actually in the Woodlands, Texas, and I know that I have a right now from God. He let me know that I have the right to go to Texas to see if my baby is alive, to see my baby. And God said that because Cynthia was a child molester, and he understands my pain. And that was the word of God, that I'm going back to Texas. And I've already put the evidence out. It was hell with me putting the evidence out about Cynthia. But I did it, and I put the evidence out that Austin was abusing me. I put out all of the evidence that they were trying to stop me from putting out in the shelter at 469 Marietta Street. I went through a lot of different gang members and criminals that they sent to try to harm me and take me in to displace me, but I did put out the evidence, and it was a struggle, as you can see on my channels, for me to remain safe in Atlanta, Georgia, while putting out the evidence. But it's out now, and I need to get to my baby to see if my baby is alive, like the Lord said, like the good Lord said.